Hi everyone! Welcome to What's for Dinner today, and we're gonna show you drunken chicken. Okay, not the one that you eat at Panda Express or some fake Chinese restaurant that's like, you know, soaked in sugar, soaked in oil, soaked in everything that's sweet, salty, just overly. I feel like it leads to obesity somehow. This dish, drunken chicken, it uses dark meat, so if you love dark meat, that's great. Otherwise you can substitute it for chicken breasts, but chicken breast is leaner, has less fat, so you just have to remember to cook it less cooking time in some way, you know what I mean, so that the meat stays tender. And this is a great appetizer to serve, and it looks elegant but very simple to make, and it's also a great summer delicacy. If you love something, it might come off a little bit weird because my husband doesn't like eating it, but he appreciates it. I think you're gonna like it. If you don't, well, at least you know how to make a fancy food, which is super easy. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. First of all, let's see what materials you needed, what ingredients or seasoning that you might need or you already have in your pantry. But most of it, the ingredients are super easy, and then like what you can find in your fridge, in everyone's fridge, I think, pretty much every day. First of all, we need to dissect the chicken. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but what you want to do is to take only the flesh part and just take the bone off of the meat. What you want to do is that if you have a giant, large chicken leg that you bought from the supermarket, you might want to just grocery store. You just want to work on slowly. This knife is not very sharp. If anybody needs it, maybe we will need to do like a knife sharpening tutorial if anybody needs it, because it's a really good idea to sharpen your knife, because it's actually more dangerous if you are working with a dull knife. What you want to do is to just follow its own kind of like a muscle, but make sure your fingers stay behind the knife blade so you don't cut yourself. You might just have to work it slowly just to find where the muscles are. There are a lot of ligaments in the chicken leg, so you might just have to work slowly. Like that. It's really easy actually. You just gotta make sure you know your meat. Just work on it slowly, don't rush anything, because rushing is never good. You can save the chicken bone in here. You don't have to toss it out. You can make like a chicken broth out of it. I like to use everything. You know, tree huggers. So this is one piece, set it aside. Now we're gonna work on this one. I don't like this meat today, but this is the only chicken that I can find. So you just have to bear with me on this part. It's easier to work with the chicken thighs. It's just that, you know, most of the chicken nowadays are not raised humanely. They don't get to walk around very much. So the skin, the texture of the skin is gonna suffer a little bit from your end result. So, but you know, this will do. We'll work with it until we find better chicken. And especially when we were poor students, we can't really buy good chicken every day. So just get whatever's on discount. Make sure that it's not expired though. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of ligaments in the chicken leg. It might affect the texture, the end result. So maybe you just want to trim away some extra ligament to improve on the texture, because you know, we're making a cold dish. The texture is gonna get harder than when it's hot. so you want it to be easiest to eat as possible. And also because it's a cold dish, I don't like the fatty taste because I feel like it's just unbearably disgusting, you know? So I like to trim away like the side fat and everything, especially we're working with a chicken that probably has never walked. I mean, sadly, but we also don't want that kind of fat. So I usually like to trim it away. If you like it to have more chickeny taste, go ahead. But this is what I'm gonna do. Now we just gotta roll it first before we steam it. How you roll it is you take a tin foil. So you take the chicken that you has prepared and you kind of just like roll it together, kind of like making a spring roll. Make sure that it's tight seal. You just gotta make sure that you'll have it tight so that the roll come out really nice, and then you just close it, kind of like making a candy. Isn't that cute? Kind of like a candy. So you can also use saran wrap on this. It doesn't really matter. You can also use string if that's all you have. Just make sure that it's rolled up and wrapped really tightly so that, you know, the roll comes out nicely. Just for the presentation's sake. The taste isn't really gonna do much. Kind of like making a sushi, you want to push it back a little bit just to make sure that it's sealed and wrapped really tightly. Ta-da! We have another one. So you just want to steam it for 10 minutes. Well, it varies a little bit because depending on, look at these two, how big you roll it, you don't want to overcook it. And like I said, if you don't like dark meat, you want to stay lean, you can use chicken breast, but you might just want to steam it only for like 5 minutes so that you don't overcook the meat. We're gonna tie the green onions together. You just kind of want to cut it down with the non-sharp side of the knife so that it's easier to tie them up. You just want to do it really lightly, otherwise you end up with like a broken up green onion. You don't want that. You want to cut it down really nice. If it's not perfect, it doesn't really matter. This is just a way to keep it in place. Now you can just tie it together. And it's kind of falling apart. I'm out of practice a little bit. Now the water is boiling. Put in what you just tied. Congratulations, they're beautiful. Yeah, that one fell apart. So you can put in some star anise, some ginger, sliced up so that it helps get rid of the meaty, gamey smell. And then you put in some bay leaves. So you just want some rock sugar. They just give a better sweetness instead of like overpowering. It's really nice. So put that in, and then you can put in a little bit of goji berry. Looks really nice, and it also has a lot of health benefits to it. And since we didn't put much salt into the chicken itself, doesn't really have very much flavor. You want the flavor to get in from the marinade, so you just want to add some salt to give it a little extra flavor. Okay, the chicken is ready, so you just want to set it aside after it's done, just so that it cool a little bit. Another thing to check to see if it's done cooking is that you can open it, but really careful because it's really hot. It smells wonderful, just like what chicken should be like. Open it up really carefully. So after the chicken, you took it out and there's no like blood after you poke it for a little bit, that means it's fully cooked. You put it in ice water. This process is gonna help the chicken skin have a really nice chewy texture. I like that. So you take out the green onion. So you just want to let it cool to room temperature, same as the chicken. This is the chicken after it has cooled. This is the kind of like the brine, the marinade that we're gonna season a little bit further for a better flavor. This is what we're gonna work with to make the drunken chicken marinade. We're gonna work with the marinade first. So this is just whatever we have boiled down after it has cooled. Now you can mix it together. So now you can taste it a little bit just to make sure that it's better to be on the strong side than not strong enough, because you're marinating it. Not all the flavor is gonna get in the meat, and the meat is all you're gonna eat. I like the flavor, but I think it just needs a little bit more alcohol, which I will just add directly into what we're gonna directly into the chicken. So first we pour in the mixture. Now I'm gonna add in the alcohol part. I'm just gonna get a lot of it because I like the alcohol taste. I feel like it adds a lot more flavor to it. And now you just wait and marinate it overnight, and we'll see how it turns out. Isn't that a fancy meal, but super easy? I know you can do it and try it. You're gonna love it. Actually, the paw was also from the person who requested this. I really love it, and that's a piece of memory I'll always keep between us. So I hope you enjoy that too. If you like what we have made today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Do you guys remember those bones that we have left on the side? I boiled it down with some green onions and ginger, as well as the bay leaves, just kind of to make a chicken stock so that you can save that and salvage the bone. And it's really simple. You can make chicken noodle soup, but the noodle that I chose today is rice macaroni. After the water is boiling, I started putting them in. But I used rice macaroni instead of wheat macaroni because I just like the texture a little better. But because it's wheat, you have to because it's rice, you have to constantly be stirring it, otherwise it will stick to the bottom of the pan. It's a very easy way of using whatever's left out because, you know, we can use every part of the vegetable, the bird, whatever kind of meat, and that hopefully will help us reduce the footprint. So this is the chicken stock. I kind of filtered out whatever's, those gingers and everything, just the stock, and I saved some of the meat. Isn't it convenient that with just one chicken leg and some seasoning, you can have an entree and an